Timothy, that kind of love shine like a beam.
Two Hearts Bound. Episode 1. Chance Encounter. Timothy had been in countless cafes before, but none quite like this one. He was a successful businessman in his mid-30s, accustomed to the polished surfaces of high-end coffee shops where suits and briefcases punctuated every table. Today, though, he found himself in a small, bustling cafe nestled in a quieter part of Lagos, far from the towering glass buildings and corporate boardrooms of his daily life. He had stepped in impulsively, seeking a momentary escape from the relentless pace that governed him. As he entered, the warmth of the cafe enveloped him, a blend of freshly brewed coffee, the chatter of patrons, and soft music playing in the background. Timothy's eyes fell on the barista moving gracefully between tables, her pace quick but her demeanor gentle. She looked like someone who had the weight of the world on her shoulders but managed to carry it lightly, offering a kind smile to each person she served. Her name was Ada.
That kind of love shine like a beam.
At 25, Ada radiated a quiet resilience honed by the challenges life had thrown at her. She came from a humble background, a reality that filled her life with responsibilities she could never escape but always embraced. In the cafe, she found a sort of refuge, a space where she could forget her own burdens, if only for a few hours, while attending to the needs of others. That day, she noticed Timothy immediately. He stood out with his tailored suit and a sense of quiet intensity. She approached him with her usual welcoming smile, one she had perfected through years of customer service but which, today, came naturally.
I'm Timothy, love is like you never seen. Love is like you never seen. Ooh.
Good afternoon, sir, she greeted him, her voice warm and steady. Would you like a table or something to go? There was something in her tone, something genuine and unpretentious, that struck Timothy. Used to the business world where interactions were often tinted with ambition or pretense, he found her openness refreshing. A table, please, he replied, smiling. And maybe a recommendation? It's my first time here. Without missing a beat, Ada suggested the house special, describing its mix of spice and smoothness with the kind of detail that only someone who truly appreciated the cafe's offerings could muster. He took her advice and watched her walk away, noticing the quiet strength in her every step. As she returned with his coffee, Timothy felt an inexplicable urge to prolong the moment, to learn more about this stranger who seemed worlds apart from the people he was used to. Thank you, Ada, he said, glancing at her name tag and testing the sound of her name on his lips. She nodded, smiling a little. You're welcome. Enjoy. She moved on to another table, but as she left, Timothy found his gaze lingering on her. He could tell she was no stranger to hard work. There was a thoughtfulness to her actions, a mindfulness that struck him as rare. People like her, he mused, were often overlooked in a city like Lagos, a city that celebrated success and power above all. As the cafe buzzed around him, Timothy's attention remained focused on her, almost as though the world around them had blurred. When she returned to clear his cup, he took a chance, speaking up. Do you ever feel like you need a break from it all? He asked, his voice tinged with a hint of vulnerability. She looked at him, a bit surprised, as though she hadn't expected such a question from a customer. Yet there was something in his gaze that felt honest. Every day, she replied softly. Lagos isn't easy on any of us. Timothy smiled, nodding in agreement. It was a simple truth, but coming from her, it felt weightier, more sincere. Their conversation was brief, but as Ada walked away, she found herself thinking about him. There was a gentleness in his words that she hadn't expected from someone who looked as polished and composed as he did. Timothy left a generous tip on the table, not merely for the coffee but for the glimpse he had caught of her world, a world where people worked tirelessly, hoping for a better tomorrow. Ada noticed the bill and felt a pang of discomfort. She was used to tips, but this was different, somehow. She turned, catching Timothy as he was about to leave. This "This is too much for just a cup of coffee," she murmured, her tone respectful but hesitant. Timothy smiled, reassured by her integrity. "It's not just for the coffee, Ada. It's for the conversation. For sharing a bit of yourself with a stranger." She thanked him quietly, a blush warming her cheeks, and for a moment, there was a pause, the air filled with something unspoken. In that pause, Timothy extended a casual invitation. A dinner, as a thank you for the kindness she had shown him. Ada's initial surprise softened into a smile, and she agreed, with the condition that she would choose the place. As he walked out of the cafe, Timothy felt a lightness he hadn't felt in years. The encounter with Ada had touched something in him, a rare glimpse of warmth and sincerity in an otherwise transactional world. And though neither of them knew it yet, that simple, chance encounter would set in motion a journey neither could have anticipated. Looking back over his shoulder one last time, Timothy saw her at the counter, quietly going about her work, and he wondered if this meeting was truly random or something far more extraordinary.
I love Timothy. Love is like you never seen.
Stay tuned to discover what happens next in Two Hearts Bound. Like, follow, and share to join Ada and Timothy's journey of love, mystery, and the unexpected twists that only fate can bring.